We're going to be working on Chapter 2, Lesson 6, Math Boxes, page 53. So here we're just completing these. 4 times 3 is 12. We can always check with our multiplication chart. We want to make sure we do exponents first. So 10 to the power of 3. I can look at my place value chart in the back of my book if I get stuck. 10 to the power of 3 will tell me 1,000, but I'm just going to check with my place value chart. Yep, 10 to the power of 3, if I look back here, is 1,000. So what is 1,000 times 3? Well, that is just 3,000. Ooh, 4 times something equals 12,000. Well, 4 times what is 12? Well, 3. And then add how many zeros on? 3. So 4 times 3,000 is 12,000. I'm going to break that down further. 4 times 3, now we took away the 1,000. So I could say 10 to the power of 3. Or I could just say 1,000. It's up to you on how you want to write it there. The figure below is a mathematical model for a blanket fort Sue built in her bedroom. Use the model to estimate the volume of the fort. So I have two parts of my fort, or Sue's fort. I'm going to label it A and B. We want to find the volume of A, the volume of B, and then add them together. So A equals 5 times 2 times 1, and B equals, I'm going to go a little bit backwards here, 4 times 3 times 5, order does not matter. Well, 5 times 2 times 10, 5 times 2 times 1 is 10, 4 times 3 is 12, times 5 is 60. So we have B equals 60 feet cubed, and A equals 10 feet cubed. If I add those together, 10 plus 60 is 70 cubic feet. Make an estimate to solve, and solve. So 492, is that closer to 400 or 500? Well, it's closer to 500. And times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Now, don't get confused when we already have a 0. We'll keep that 0 and add these two leftover zeros for 2,000. Now, notice that we're not always grouping, like adding that number in when we multiply, so don't forget to do that. 4 times 2 is 8. Now, 4 times 9 is 36. The 6 goes here, and the 3 is going to go on top. Now, 6 times 6 is 16. Don't forget to add that 3 into 16 for 19. Now I have 1,968. That's pretty close to my estimate of 2,000. Insert grouping symbols to make the numbers true. This is all trial and error. How am I going to get to 10? Well, 4 times 5 is 20. Well, that's going to make it too high. So what about 4 minus 2 first? Well, 4 minus 2 is 2 times 5 is 10. Now I want to get to 3. 45 divided by 9 is 5 plus 3 is 11. Well, that doesn't work. Well, what's 9 plus 3? 9 plus 3 is 15. So then I would 45 divided by 15. Now in some grades you have to know, and in some places you have to know your 15 facts as well. So I know my 15 facts, and I can do this one in my head. 15 times 3 is 45, so 45 divided by 15 is 3. Ooh, this one's going to be tricky, but if I use my growth mindset, I can do this one. How are we going to get to 10? Let's see. What about 4 times 2? Well, that's 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4 plus 3. Nope, that won't work. So now let's just go down the line. Now 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then I have times 2 plus 3. Well, times 2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. But what if I did it this way? 4 divided by 2 is 2 plus 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5 times 2 is 10. Write which 6-digit number has a 2 in the tens place? So let's look at the tens place. Well, that's a 4, so that's not going to work. That's a 4, not going to work. 4, not going to work. Oh my gosh, I read that wrong. I'm so sorry. My brain is jumbled. A 2 in the ones place. Sorry, so a 7 in the ones place. That's not going to work. A 2 in the ones place, so maybe. A 2 in the ones place, maybe. A 4 in the ones place, so that's not going to work. And a 2 in the ones place. So these three could work. 7 in the thousands place. Well, that could work. Could work. Could work. Well, that's not going to help any. A 9 in the 100,000. Okay, this does work. I can shade in that little box. This does work. And this, the 9 is in the 10,000. So I only have two options here. Don't let these squares trick you. Just multiply like normal and then write them in. So 4 times 6 is 24. The 4 goes here, the 2 up here. 4 times 7 is 28, plus 2 is 30. So 304. Great job. Make sure you show all your work.